What's up, basement dwellers? Welcome to another edition of Jersey Phanatics. I'm your host, Chris the Dace Man Dace. Joining me as always, Mr. Erik Barezzo.
Darth Maul's the best.
And back from assignment, Mr. Tyler Freed.
Saw, dude.
All right.
Glad I didn't get designated for assignment.
Like
Connor Brogdon did. Bitch.
All right, so tonight we're going to be talking about two series, the White Sox that happened this past weekend, as well as the Cincinnati Reds that just wrapped up yesterday, today as we're recording. And, we're coming at you a couple days since the last drop, so we already knew what happened over the weekend as we recorded the last episode. But let's talk about that end to the homestand with the Phillies versus the White Sox, the Friday 19th. They were in their City Connect forms where they won 7-0. That Saturday they would win 9-5, which is kind of ugly, but a win nonetheless. And then Sunday they beat them 8-2 to complete the sweep on the Phanatics' birthday. Let's kick it off. What were your thoughts on the White Sox series, Mr. Barezzo?
White Sox suck. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, they are awful. I saw a stat today that said that they already have like 2 7-game losing streaks and 2 like 4 and 3 game losing streaks. Like, it's fucking April 25th, and you have that many losing streaks already. That is insane. And I couldn't believe that they were that bad. I expected them to be bad, but they were abysmal, and we did exactly what you needed to do to those teams. And that's you started it off on Friday, and it was good to see them actually winning those Connect jerseys because I hated the Connect jerseys on last Friday because they lost.
Well, as of right now, the Sox are 3-22 as of this recording. That's got to suck to be them. At least they can go down the street to the Cubs. Tyler, what was your thoughts on the White Sox series?
Bro, the White Sox are hot garbage, and I love to see it. The Friday night there was a shutout. That was like their 7th shutout or something like that of the season. It's something ridiculous, considering we're not even a month in. I mean, outside of the bullpen looking really shaky late in a couple of those games, or I guess Saturday, I think it was Pinto that was giving up a couple of them runs.
Yep.
I mean, we looked like we did what we should have done. I mean, we took care of business. We hit, we pitched. I mean, our starting pitchers have been insane. This whole the whole beginning of the season so far. So I mean, they did what they needed to do.
Yeah, you had that Saturday game. It was 9-0 all the way up until the 9th inning, and you're like, all right, this looks really good. And then all of a sudden you had Pinto come in, and like we talked about last week, Dace, that this dude, he hasn't been good since he got off that freaking bus or whatever the hell you want to call it that he transported down here to pitch when we needed him. Like he's been terrible since. And that game was just proof of it too.
So the highlights of the Friday game is Spencer Turnbull went 7 innings pitched with 1 hit, 0 earned runs, and 6 strikeouts. Alec Boehm had himself a 2-home run game with 6 RBIs and 2 runs, so he went 2-4 for the day. And Whit Merrifield had his first homer of the season that Friday in their City Connects. What were your thoughts on Turnbull? We're going to have a conversation about him a little bit later in the show, as well as Alec Boehm really leading this team when it comes to slugging.
He was good.
I was gonna say Turnbull. I mean, he's been on like fire. Like he's just been lighting it up, pitching great. I can't believe they're gonna do what they're gonna do, but yeah, I mean, pitching just in general. Turnbull was great. He 7 innings, no hit. And then that's when they pulled him. And then Wheeler did the same thing the next day. He went 7 1/3, no hit. Imagine being the White Sox. You 7 out of the 9 innings you played in 2 games, and you're no hit for all of it.
Yeah, like you just said, he went. It was 7 innings, 1 hit. But yeah, he was flirting with the no the whole entire game. You got really excited what was coming, and exactly what you said about Wheeler too. Same thing. The dude's been on fire, and he finally got run support today. But we'll talk about that next series. But he hasn't been getting his run support, but pitching wise, he's number one across the board. All like every single MLB expert, they call it. They can say whatever the hell they want, but everyone is saying that Wheeler is number one right now. But Spencer Turnbull is number two, and Ranger Suarez is number three, and that's how the breakdown is going. So it's nice to have your top 3 out of 4 pitchers are in your top 3 across the board for MLB. Nola, unfortunately, isn't going to get there. He's kind of, I don't want to say rough, but he's having a pretty rough.
I mean,
innings here and there.
Nola's pitched really well. He's just getting shadowed by the other 3. Like, if you went and took this what Nola's doing right now, and you gave it to any other season, scratch the other 3 doing what they're doing something similar, you'd be content and happy with what Nola's doing.
Yeah, we said it last week. If your worst pitcher is Aaron Nola, we're doing something right when it comes to our starting rotation. Saturday's game, the top performers were Zach Wheeler, who went 7 1/3 with 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 8 strikeouts. Nick Castellanos went 3 for 3 with a triple, a walk, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs. And Johan Rojas went 3 and 4 for an RBI, 2 runs, and a stolen base. They won that game 9-5. But part of the issue that we saw was that 9th inning. They carried it 9-0 up until Pinto coming out, and the bullpen. Man, thoughts on the bullpen, Tyler?
The bullpen, they never figure it out until like midway through the season. So as long as starting pitching can carry us most of the way, and the bullpen doesn't completely blow it, I'm cool with it. I mean, it's going to be tougher when we're in 3-0 games rather than 9-0 games to hide some of these guys. But if we're in a 3-0 game, Pinto's not going out there. He's not going to be out there in the 8th and 9th inning, so I'm not super concerned about that. Pinto's going to be the basically the Covey of the past last year. Like, he's just going to get thrown out there in shit innings and basically just have to eat. He's just the pitcher that's going to eat up pitches.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. The thing I'm concerned about, though, is I'm concerned about Dominguez. He has been terrible, and he can't find the strike zone to save his life. But it's so when he comes out, I don't think the ump was helping him too much either in that 9-5 game. But still, like, he couldn't find the strike zone, and you're kind of just like begging him, just throw a freaking strike here, man. And he really couldn't, but either could Pinto. So both of them were awful. But Dominguez has a 5.87 ERA, and Pinto has 11.17. Like, it's pretty outrageous that those two couldn't get through that inning for you, and you had to bring in Alvarado in order to save it. Like, it's just, you didn't want to use him. You didn't want him to be able to come in. You didn't want him to warm up. You didn't want him to do anything in that game. You just wanted him to sit there and eat seeds. And unfortunately, he had to come in and order and shut it down because it was spiraling out of control real freaking fast. So that's kind of the only concerning part. And then, like, you have what? You have Hoffman, you have Kerkering, and you have Alvarado that are your 3 dependable bullpen arms right now. And the nervousness that you're going to get when the others come in is pretty high. But what are you going to do? I guess we're going to talk about that after, but I feel...
I have a feeling this time next week we won't be talking too much about Pinto.
Yeah, no. And it's going to be a little annoying what they're going to do with that. And I feel like that's the next conversation we're going to have after these series talks. So I won't get into that. But Yeah.
So the Phillies ended up capping off the White Sox series with the sweep on the Phanatics' birthday. Aaron Nola went 8 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. Schwarber went 1 for 1 with a home run, 3 walks, 2 RBIs, and 3 runs. And Alec Bohm went 3 for 5 with a double and an RBI. The Sunday game was kind of fun, although Nola was doing Nola things. But he got out of it, and he definitely got the run support to back him up out of it. So if it was a tight game, it was a little bit more stressful. But considering that they won 8-2, it was less stressful. Eric, what were your thoughts on the final cap for the White Sox?
It was nice that they came out in the first inning and put up 3 runs almost immediately in the first inning, and then they didn't take their foot off the gas the whole entire time. And that was nice because, like, normally they scored 3 more runs in the 4th inning, and normally they kind of take their foot off the gas, and you have more people swinging at BS because they're like, all right, let's just get out of this. We won. It's the White Sox. They suck. Let's move on. Let's focus on the next series that we have. And they just kept scoring. So it was only 2 more runs that they got, but at least they got those 2 more runs. Because like I said, normally they shut it down. But it was definitely more enjoyable. Aaron Nola went 8 innings. He had 4 hits. And that's what you wanted to see. Like, that's what Tyler said. That's what you want to see out of your second starter and who's been your opening starter for the last 6 years. So that's what you got. And that's why I think the bullpen is kind of not like underused. There we go. That's the word I want to use. So right now they're underused because you have Turnbull going 7 innings, you have Wheeler going 7 innings, you have Nola going 8 innings, Ranger Suarez going 7 innings. So these bullpen arms are like, hey, when are we going to get in? Because you guys have been pitching lights out. So they've been resting.
McCarthy said in one of the games, he said that the Phillies pitchers have averaged 6 2/3, I think. The starters, which is I think the top mark in the MLB, and like that's them as a collective. The next closest is 5 1/3.
Wow.
Like the Phillies are like the starters are like ridiculously higher than everyone.
And the crazy thing, I think it's Sanchez bringing down the average if you think about it, because you look at Wheeler, Nola, Suarez is what, 2 complete games or damn near close to 2 complete games under his belt.
Like, yeah, too close. He probably could have got that other one. I think it was the Red Series. He probably could have got that one too, but they took him out.
Mm-hmm. So it got to the point where I think Rob's just taking them out to take them out, just because you don't want them burn out in September.
Oh yeah, you could tell Suarez's last start he was pulled because because of how many pitches he had the previous. Like I think they pulled him at like 87. And I just don't think they wanted. Like he probably could have gone out for another inning and just played that inning out, but I don't think they wanted to.
Yeah, and that was the first game against the Reds.
Speaking of which, they hit the road after capping that homestand with an 8-2 record. Was it? They just dropped the 2 to Pittsburgh. They had 2 back-to-back sweeps. They were on a 7-game winning streak, or a 6-game winning streak heading into the Red Series, and they would cap the 7th win on Monday night, where Ranger Suarez pitched to a 7-0 win over the Reds. And it looked like the good times were going to keep on rolling. The top performers were Ranger Suarez, who went 7 innings pitched, 2 hits allowed, 0 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Fucking Cody Clemens, who came up for a day, went 2 for 4 with a home run, a double, 3 RBIs, and a run.
I think he got into his dad's stash. That's what I think.
Right? So how do we feel about that Monday night game? We'll start with you, Eric.
Well, he was here for 3 days, but unfortunately 2 of those days were against left-handed pitchers, so he didn't go back in. But he got that 3-run homer, and you're like, all right, this is nice. You're going to see more of him, and you're going to see less of whatever BS it is that's going to happen. And then you saw what happened in the rest of the series. They went left-handed pitcher, and then they went right-handed heavy. But that first game was awesome. Like Tyler said, they pulled Ranger basically after a smallish number that he's been used to, but he went 7 innings of shutout ball, and he's 25 innings straight now of basically shutout innings. So he's been rocking it real well lately. And you can, like, I think me and you were talking about last week, Dace, is that he is probably the cockiest person on the mound, especially when a ball is hit at him. He just throws it like so nonchalant.
No, all right. So I don't think that's cocky. That's confidence. There's a difference.
Okay.
Like he's not like sitting there like mocking. Like I don't think another team thinks that like that's him mocking them. I just think he's just like, all right, I got this, and he's just tossing it over. I don't think that. Like I think cocky is just the wrong word to use there.
I did say last week I thought it was cool when Cliff Lee did it because he was older than us. I just he's a young shit, so I don't like Ranger Suarez doing the shit because he's younger than me. It's a personal thing because like he's a young little arrogant fuck.
But
that's
he's not,
what it seems like. Frosted Tips says he differently.
Listen, man, I don't think it's him being arrogant at all. I mean, he should have had a Gold Glove last year. I feel like Wheeler probably just like handed it to him because Wheeler even knows that Suarez is better defensively.
No, he saw the Frosted Tips and kept it. You can't have Frosted Tips to be taken seriously.
I don't think he has the Frosted Tips this year.
Listen,
no, and I love him.
Listen, if that man's going to pitch like that, he can have whatever hairstyle he wants.
But he didn't when he had the Frosted Tips.
Yes, he did. He's always pitched like this.
Not in the postseason. He was.
Maybe that's why he didn't pitch so well.
That's because he had the Frosted Tips. It unbalanced him.
He lost the Frosted Tips, and he was having an amazing year.
Came back without Frosted Tips. He's giving Zach Wheeler a run for the Cy Young.
But anyway, yeah, so he went 25 innings pitched of shutout ball. And I think Wheeler is on a pretty good projection too, like when it comes to shutout ball too, because I think they said it today of what he's been doing.
It's a shame for Wheeler that it was the one game where he was left in just an inning too long that beat him up.
And that's Rob Thompson's favorite thing to do. Loves keeping them pitchers in way too long.
You might as well just get Rob Thompson fired. Unbelievable.
Soon. We'll see where we're at the All-Star break if Erik wants his head or not.
You know who's the
I'll take the head right now. It's all right.
You know who's the second worst manager that we could possibly have? It's going to be the next manager we have because it's the worst one's the one that we have now, and then the second worst one is the one that we get next. True. Because Erik hates anyone in charge. Like
that's fair.
Did your dad like beat you when you were young or something?
Got a problem with authority there, Stone Cold Steve Erik?
You know, shit happens. I don't like authority, you know.
It could be Gabe Kapler.
No, yeah, God no. Please don't do that again.
Yeah, Andrew Knapp would be starting every day. So just, know where your bread is buttered right now. Let's roll into Tuesday's game, which was fucking heartbreaking. The Phillies lost 1-8 to the Reds. The only highlight I would say is Alec Boehm did a double in the first inning to score JT, where you thought the good times were going to keep on rolling. And then the Reds fucking stepped on the gas and never let up. Sanchez took the loss there. All the top performers were on the Reds. I don't really want to give them credit. So,
was it Tuesday or Wednesday that Boehm went 4 for 4?
I think Boehm went 4 for 4 on.
Yep, that was not Tuesday. Yeah,
Wednesday. Okay.
Which is also devastating. We'll talk about that soon too.
Tuesday, I only heard of the game through Sam, so I didn't really know exactly what was going on. I saw your guys' messages in the group chat because I was still at work, and then I heard it like on the phone call from driving home from work.
It was a rough lineup to begin with. You know, you had Schwarber, Turner, Real Muto, Boehm, Castellanos, Merrifield, Pache, Sosa, and Rojas. So you basically had 4 people at the bottom that were either going to strike out or ground into a double play or ground out. Like,
wait, who's your 4?
The bottom 4 was Merrifield, Pache, Sosa, and Rojas.
So we can add 5 because the one that was in front of them, Castellanos.
Castellanos, yeah. He's complete garbage right now.
He went not complete garbage. Better stats than Schwarber had this time last year. So shush up.
Listen, he has like a 190. He has a 184 batting average right
Do
now.
you not remember when Schwarber had below 1?
Nope. Don't
Yeah, of
remember
course
it at
not.
all.
When he was batting like a .86, like
All
he
right,
was
listen.
lower than fucking blood alcohol content.
Schwarber has a
this-
200 batting average right now. Okay.
My
Whoa,
diss
too.
on Castellanos right now, it has nothing to do with our thing between Schwarber and Castellanos. Castellanos is not seeing the ball. He is not swinging well at all. The hits that he does have are soft contact. They're not like nothing he's doing seems like he's almost getting hits by accident, it seems like. I think he had a hard hit ball either in game 1 or 2 of this Red Series. I honestly thought this Red Series was going to get him going. Like, I thought he was going to have a really good series overall. I don't know what his numbers ended up being, but I was kind of surprised that they weren't better.
Yeah, the worst part is his on-base percentage is 232. So he's not even getting walks. Like, he's just
The man is in an 0-2 count with like one pitch thrown, because I feel like he's just already like you could just guarantee a strike with him.
Oh yeah,
Because
absolutely.
you throw anything with a break down and away, he's slinging at that.
So, moving on to the Wednesday game.
Moving on.
Well, the whole fucking team sucked on Tuesday. The only person who did anything was fucking Bohm.
It was an awful game.
Yeah, Bohm and I think JT's was a walk. It's the only reason he was on second. Wednesday's game, with shit going sideways on Tuesday, you think they do something with the lineup, but they said nope, we're gonna go with the same fucking lineup again.
Just add Stubbs.
Just add take away one of our heavy hitters.
I cannot stand this righty heavy lineup bullshit. I don't care about your bullshit fucking numbers with this. Like, just play your best guys. Like, I get it, you want to inject Merrifield, Sosa, a game here, a game there. Okay, I get it. Someone's got to sit eventually out of everyone that's there. But it's like, just because the starting pitcher is left-handed does not mean Stott and Marsh have to sit every single time. It's honestly out of hand. And then, not to mention, you have a lefty pitcher, and we're going to go, oh, let's put Stubbs in, who's a lefty. So now you're kind of, like, I get it, you're giving JT a day off, but give him a day off against a righty.
Yeah.
You saw how well Turnbull pitched again with JT behind the plate the previous outing. Give him another shit go.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. That's one of the things that bothers me is just this bullshit lineup that we have to deal with. Like, let's see what they can do before the freaking playoffs come around. Obviously, it's early in the season, and we're not talking about playoffs right now, but you want to at least them see more than 20 pitches from a left-hand pitcher before November. So I don't know. I think you need to do more with that, but they just don't do it.
I mean, if we're being honest, on Wednesday, it really had nothing to do with the lineup that we had out there. It was Sir Anthony Dominguez. He absolutely blew that game.
For sure.
Yeah, Turnbull went 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts. Bohm had his 4-for-4 game with a double, walk, and 2 RBI. And like you said, basically, Dominguez came in. That's when shit fell off the track. The Reds would go on to score every inning after that. 4 runs in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th, ultimately to beat us 7-4.
What was it? Dominguez, he gave up, I think, 2 straight walks, and then a single or something, and then there was like a big double or something that happened. And it's just like, bro, like there's something off with him. There's been something off with him since last season.
Ever since he came back from injury, he just hasn't been him.
He's not him. He's not playing anywhere close to him. I think they need to take him out of high leverage situations and let him figure out his pitching.
I think that's what they said today on the broadcast, is that Kirkring was kind of going to take over the spot that they would normally put Dominguez in and take him out of those high leverage spots. So that hopefully that works. But yeah, Dominguez was awful. And then you had Strom who had to come in and get out of that inning because he only got to 2/3 of the inning. And then you had Soto come in, he gave up a run, and you had Alvarado come in and give up the run too. But at least both of them were able to get through an inning. Like neither or Dominguez wasn't able to at all. And he can't. He doesn't seem to be able to right now. And it's weird because he's still throwing really hard, but there's zero movement and zero location on the balls that he's throwing.
That's what it is. It's location. For Dominguez, like for him to be successful, he's got to locate it with his slider that he has. He's got to locate that, and then he can work his fastball. But if he's not locating his off-speed pitch, then it's basically useless.
And I think that's what Franson said today on the broadcast is that whenever he's throwing his pitches, the slider is not sliding. The curveball is not curving. So it's like he's working apparently with Cotham to get his grip right because his grip isn't accurate right now. And he can't seem to figure out what the right grip is right now. So that's been his issue allegedly.
I mean, sometimes I feel like it's more mental. Like he's been struggling for so long that like he's probably tinkered with everything.
Oh yeah,
all over the place. I'm hoping they figure out however it's something like Nola was last year, where they figured out where he was standing on the mound. He was off a hair, and they adjusted him, and that's what changed everything of what Nola was doing last year. That's why he got so good at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So the Phillies would go on to finish the series today as we were recording on Thursday or yesterday as you're listening to this podcast with a final score of 5-0 against the Reds. So the top performers of that series, of course, were Zach Wheeler with 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, and 8 strikeouts. Daddy Harper returned to go 2 for 3 with a home run, walk, 2 RBIs, and a run. And Stott fired up today with a 2-4, went 2 for 4 with a triple, 2 RBIs, and a run. What do we think about this afternoon game and splitting the series with the Reds? Erik, sorry.
Well, Zach Wheeler pitched, like you just said, but it was 8 strikeouts again by him. But the only uncharacteristic thing from him was the 4 walks. So that kind of was weird out of him. It was the highest that he's thrown this year, only by 1 walk because the last highest was 3. But still, it was I don't really want to say that he wasn't really locating badly, but I think it was more the umpire really wasn't giving him the corners and the outside edges. So I think he had a good start today. There was no issue, but the thing that I liked the most was that they had 11 hits today, and that's exactly what this team needed. The only one that didn't have a hit, surprise, surprise, is Rojas. So he seemed to be turning it on lately, though. He's still batting this year 266, so he still has a higher average than Schwarber. I don't think it's Turner anymore now. Not Turner anymore, but Harper, and then Real Muto too. So he's still batting higher than all these big hitters, but he also doesn't play as often. But he's turning around. He's seeing the ball better. His defense is still better. That was the other thing that was kind of questionable yesterday with his defense. But today it just didn't go his way. But everyone else hit, and that's except for Schwarber too didn't hit either. He had 3 strikeouts, and all of them were looking. That was a rough game for him.
Tyler, what were your thoughts on the finale for the Reds and splitting the series with them?
I mean, splitting the series with them, it's what we did before, I believe, right? We split that with them the first time around, or did we go 3-1?
I think we dropped it because we lost the first 2 series against the Braves and them. but I think it was only 3 games against them the first series.
Yeah, we lost the series 2-1. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, we split it this time, so that's a plus. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of on par with what when we went through the schedule the last time I was around, and kind of like where I was kind of getting us, where I think we would be way above 500 before the end of the month. I kind of counted this one as a split. So I'm still on pace for what I need on this theory.
I am not.
No.
There's still time.
That magic number is 1. All they have to do is win 1 game.
There's still time.
Well, yeah, I mean, my highlight of today's game was I got a message from my brother. Apparently, I guess in the post-game interview, Bryce Harper ball tapped Bryson Stott.
Yeah. Yeah, and they came out to dump water on him.
So I thought that was kind of funny. That was, like that's Harper being a dad. He's just out there doing dad things. I can respect it.
All right, so the Phillies, as of this recording, are 2.5 games back on the Atlanta Braves. They are sitting at 16 wins, 10 losses, a .615 percentage. Couple stats I want to give you before we roll into our topic of conversation tonight is the last 7 games, which would cover the games we've covered on today's show. Kyle Schwarber is batting an .083. Nick Castellanos is batting .222. Suck it. Now on to the real conversation.
I wanted you to know that's not. I was never arguing that Schwarber played better this week.
Okay. Last 2 shows, Nick Castellanos is batting .193. Kyle Schwarber is batting .185. Suck it. So half this month, Schwarber sucked.
Maybe Castellanos needs to have better looking at bats, because at least Schwarber does that.
Yes, staring at the ball go by. So the topic for the conversation tonight.
At least he ain't swinging a shit that's bouncing in front of the plate and not in the opposite batter's box. So,
to each
so damn
their
true
own.
on that.
I mean, must be nice to watch it come right down the center of the lane. Go, nope, not that one. That's just too perfect. It's just too perfect.
Yeah, he feels like he has options, so it's fine.
About
.083. Castellanos feels like he has none, so he just swings at everything.
But statistics show that Casty's better right now.
Schwarber's starting to get in the territory of where it comes with Scott Kingery. Every time he struck out, he stared at the scoreboard.
Maybe it'll change.
Yeah, maybe it'll show it that it was a ball instead of a strike, and it's like, dude, it was right down the center for the third strike.
Schwarber's just due for a good freak out, right? Like, I'm sure we got to be having it. I'm sure Angel Hernandez has got to be on our schedule eventually.
I hope so, and I hope it's on the West Coast when he's like jet lagged and Schwarber like just loses it. Fuck Angel. Anyway, awesome. The real conversation for tonight is it was announced today. I believe it was today. Is official that Walker will be getting the nod this weekend in San Diego, and Turnbull will be heading to the bullpen. I don't think anyone in Philly's happy with that decision right now. Tyler, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts on this decision?
It makes absolutely no fucking sense. You just had Christopher Sanchez struggle in back-to-back starts where he hasn't looked good. You've had Spencer Turnbull, who has looked great in every single start. His biggest hiccup was he gave up a home run in this last start. Still walked out with only giving up 1 run. And you saw how, like, I loved his passion in that, like, when he went back to the bench after giving up that home run. Slammed his glove down, like, because he knew he missed that, and he's not going to do it again. I don't know, man. I guess their theory on it is he's been very injury prone over his career, and it's been a long time since he's basically pitched a full season. So they're trying to, I guess, hide him in the bullpen until he might be needed to be an actual starter. I don't know. I don't think this is a good idea. I do think that he's eventually, honestly, he's just probably going to be piggybacking off of Taijuan Walker. Like, he's just going to be Taijuan goes 3, and then,
Yep.
Turnbull's going to come in the fourth inning and then go 3 or 4.
Yep, that's exactly what I see coming to. Is that Walker isn't? He's throwing almost 3 mile an hour slower than what he was last year, and that could be that he has to work it up. But he's at like 89, 90 miles an hour for a fastball, and unfortunately, in today's baseball, that ain't gonna cut it. You have to be a lot better than that, and he's not able to do it. Like Spencer should not be in the bullpen. But like you said, that's exactly where he's going because they're worried about the injury, like you said. So I agree on that aspect, but they should really, really just fire the fucking analytics department and just say, shut the hell up and let's go by feel and just see how everything's going. Because Turnbull is pitching lights out. Sanchez should be in the bullpen.
This isn't the analytical department, whatever they're putting it on it. I mean, this is just the fact that Turnbull's injury history. That's really all it is. They're just trying to they think that if they, ease up his innings now, that he can just be this pitcher come September, which I think is wrong. I think pitchers are very streaky people. They're either going to be really good or they're going to go on really bad. And if you take him out of the rhythm that he's in, you're just basically bringing that really bad to come sooner, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And to the whole Walker point about his pitches being that much slower, I'm hoping he was just like, I'm in the minors. I really don't give a shit. And then he's just kind of fucking just start going through the motions and pitching. And then hopefully, eventually, hopefully that's not what his actual numbers are at.
I hope so.
Do we think it's going to be a permanent thing? Do you think that they're going to give Walker? Well, Walker being in the lineup, I think, is permanent. Do you think Sanchez gets to stay in the starting rotation, or could that be a change down the line?
It would have to change if Sanchez is struggling as a starter. Like if he's not pitching well, and you still have Turnbull coming in, and pitching well out of the bullpen part of it, then, you have to make that switch. You have to, you see how important it is for us to have good starters. We're having one of the better starts in April than, we've had ever in franchise history. And it's because our starting pitching is absolutely lights out. And you're going to go and disrupt it for fucking Taijuan Walker just because he makes a shit ton of money. I don't care how much money you make. Like, if you win us ball games, you win us ball games.
Yep, completely agree with that. And Walker should not leapfrog just because of salary.
I honestly think that they are doing this to hopefully up Taijuan Walker's value, so maybe they can unload him. It's going to be really hard to just unload him. Because of his contract, let alone his actual pitching. But I don't know. Maybe you'll find a young team that has a decent bullpen arm that you can unload him for and hope that the bullpen arm is going to do something.
Yeah, because I think Dace said last episode that you have Mick Abel just waiting in the wings too. And he's more than likely going to get a call up halfway through the season, probably 3/4 into the season, just like Orion was. So that's another starting pitcher that you have on the horizon. Not going to be amazing this year, but probably next year he's going to be back. And then you have what the hell is that dude's name? I can't remember his name.
Painter.
Huh?
Andrew Painter.
Yes, thank you. I forgot his name because he's been out for so long. But so he's going to be back too. So you're going to have 2 starting pitchers that are going to be coming up next year. So yeah, that could be a great option if somebody was willing to take them.
I mean, it's that, or even the idea. I mean, I guess having too many pitchers isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, it's not the worst problem to have. If Taijuan Walker comes out and he can pitch like he can pitch, then I can't be mad. Like, if he's doing his thing, I don't know. I wasn't even mad with what he was doing last year. Like, I felt like, me personally, I felt like he had a decent season. Like, obviously, we were getting wins behind him because he was one of the top wins getters in the National League. It was just, hopefully he could just minimize the first inning. Like, that's really all it was for him. The first 2 innings were like the worst things that could ever possibly happen every single time. So maybe he could figure that out, and then he'll be better.
It's crazy to think that we've gone from a team that had 2 aces really to now having like 8 starters, and you don't know who you want to put in as your 4th and 5th. Like you're pretty much locked in with your top 3. The 4th one, you're like Sanchez isn't bad. Like people would probably kill to have him in their rotation as their 2nd or 3rd in some other these shitty teams. But it's crazy to think 2 years ago, Aaron and Zach were like the answer, and then we were just falling off with Matt Moore, fucking what's his name, Anderson,
Matt
like,
fucking Moore.
Chase Anderson.
Yeah, like that was our 4th and 5th for that starting year.
So I mean, I don't know. I've been shitting on Sanchez, but I just think he's a better bullpen arm. Like I think he's better to come out and be the long arm out of the bullpen than he is as a starter. Not to say he's a bad starter. Like he's been, last year he proved very well. I thought that he should have maybe even gotten a postseason start, or more pitching in the postseason, I should say. But yeah, I mean, it's a good problem to have that we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I worry about that is if they go to the 6-man rotation, because Wheeler hates that 6-man rotation.
I mean, Wheeler can grow the fuck up. Just because he hates it doesn't mean he can't fucking do it for a couple months to save himself some innings. Like, I don't think it's the worst idea because one, yeah, okay, it's a different rhythm for you, but like you're going to be so much fresher come September, October than if you were going, that many, that probably what. If you started this early, it probably takes away 3 to 4 starts by the end of the season. And I'm totally cool with that because that gives you 3 to 4 more starts in the postseason.
Well, just if you remember how bad he was on that extra day rest, those few starts last year.
Listen, me personally, I don't give a fuck as long as he's healthy and good to go in the postseason.
The year before, he didn't have that, and he had to sit most of September.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that's what I don't know. I mean, I guess that's kind of where my head is. Like, I think that we're, it's kind of like the way I look at, I know Jason's going to hate this analogy, but the way I look at the Eagles, like every year I expect us to be in the playoffs, but I just want us to get there healthy. Like, I expect us to be in the playoffs. I expect us to get there with our guys healthy and ready to go.
Yeah.
As a side note, did you hear those fucking morons in Cincinnati this afternoon chanting Eagles in an Ohio stadium? They can go fuck themselves.
Well, I mean, Jason Kelsey is from Cincinnati. Well, Ohio is close to Cincinnati, so
I don't care. They got a WrestleMania moment that luckily I was in the bathroom for, and they can just it's just people who spell their team names drive me nuts. So it's not Eagles exclusive because I've learned that more teams do this, and they can go fuck themselves too. But stop spelling in baseball stadiums. You have your time to do that. Fuck
no,
off.
you can ask Sam. Even though I'm such a huge Eagles fan, it fucking frustrates me every time I hear it. I'm like, bro, you're at a baseball game. Are you what are you doing? Go home.
Yep.
Just cringe. Like it just like, hey, even at WrestleMania when they were all chanting it, fine. I was in your stadium. Have at it. If they do it at the monster truck thing, I hope a wheel pops off and kills them all. But it's just the dumb. Like, come up with something more unique, or just don't. Just don't.
Yeah.
It's okay. So to end the show, we're going to talk about the series coming up. By the time we get back here to talk about baseball next week, the team will complete their West Coast or their first West Coast tour, I assume, of the year, where they'll be facing the Padres this weekend, followed by the Angels. Let's take a look at the Padres series first. Tyler, what do you think the record's going to be out in San Diego?
What is it? 3 games?
Yes. Tomorrow. Well, tonight, Saturday, and Sunday.
I take. I think it's going to be two out of the 3. I think they can take.
It's a Nola, Suarez, and Walker lineup for pitching.
Do they still have Austin Nola?
No,
No, I think he's in the
No.
minors, isn't he?
he's in the minors for I think Cubs or something like that. Some
Well,
random team.
hold on, timeout. So he's not even on the pod. He left the Padres, and he's not a Philly. Like I don't know what Dave Dombrowski's doing, bro. Like I mean, we need Austin Nola to be like the backup catcher for like one game. Like him and Nola need to pitch to each other at least one time
That'd be
in the
awesome.
majors. But okay. So if Nola's not on that squad, then Nola's gonna get the dub. I don't want to say it, but I think it might be Rangers off game, and then I think we get the dub Sunday
With behind Walker.
behind Walker. I don't know if it's necessarily behind Walker, but we get the win despite or behind him.
And just a Austin Nola note, he is currently in the minor league system for the Kansas City Royals. He's playing for AAA Omaha Storm Chasers.
Shit, he can come play AAA for us.
Yeah, why not?
But-
Marchand's still healing his back, right?
Oh, Jesus Christ! Like 6 years later.
Eric, what are your thoughts on the Padres series this weekend? What are we going to expect?
I think Padres are going to win the series, unfortunately.
Are you thinking or are you hoping because of what you said earlier?
I'm not hoping. I'm thinking. I think Nola and Walker are going to get shelled, and I think Suarez is going to get the victory on Saturday.
Nah, Nola's gonna pitch a fucking gem. He always does. In San Diego.
I think last time you
He's-
called that, he ended up giving up like 6 home runs.
Nola pitches well in San Diego. Like I think the loss that he has out there was it was one of them topper moments where he left them in the like late. He was at like 100 plus pitches in the 8th inning, and he let up like a double for them to either tie it or go up one. No, I there's no way. No, I don't. I think Nola's the guaranteed win of the weekend.
I just got to say, I'm proud of you, Eric. You're expecting disappointment, and you'll never be disappointed. It's about time that gift got through to your head. Following the Padres series, they'll cap off the West Coast.
Whoa. Where are
What's
you
that?
at with the Padres series?
I think they win.
Us thing.
I think they win. I do think they drop Walker's game, though. I don't think Suarez is due yet to give up. I don't know. Maybe he like the bullpen will pull one out for him, but I do think the Walker game is going to be the tough one of the three.
See, I didn't think that it's gonna be like a start of a down stretch for Ranger. I just think it's an off game for Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
I think he'll still turn it up just because he's so close to the border there. But when it comes to Walker, I have no faith in Walker. I just really don't. He hasn't pitched in the majors since last September, right? Because he didn't do anything in the postseason. He had his last start of the regular, and he hasn't faced major league pitchers yet. And I think he's going to get lit up in that first inning. And then our bats are just going to go quiet on him. So he's going to be the unfortunate sad sack of the weekend.
Do you know who the pitchers for them are?
So they will have Musgrove on Friday.
Dub.
Cease will be Saturday. So okay,
Dub.
that game might be rough. King on Sunday.
Dub.
So
I'm
you
changing my answer to a sweep. I'm changing it to a sweep.
Well, moving on to the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday game to cap off the West Coast trip. The Phillies will face the Angels, who are 10-15 right now. Monday, we'll see Chris Sanchez take the mound, followed by Wheeler on Tuesday and Nola on Wednesday. What are we thinking, Eric, for the Angel series?
That's a sweep.
Oh, that's brave.
That's a sweep. They don't have any pitchers.
That's fair. All the pitchers say TBD. The fucking Angels.
They don't have any pitchers. They have Mike Trout only too. So he's going to hit a home run because he's on some incredible tear right now, or he's going to get injured. Either or, one of the two is going to happen.
You ready? Hot take. Mike Trout comes home with Phillies by the end of the series.
At the end of the series,
that would be a hell of a way to end April.
After Wednesday's game, he just comes home with the Phillies. I'm not
Like-
necessarily. I'm not saying he gets traded to the Phillies. I just think he comes home. Like he's just like, yeah, you know what? I'm done. I'm not playing for the Angels anymore. You guys figure it out.
Oh, that's fantastic. That'd be awesome. Just taking off his jersey right there. Like, all right, see you guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Listen, y'all can keep Rojas. We're gonna bring Mike Trout with us.
That'd be funny. He just looks down at his ticket. Is like, hey, my ticket says Trout. Oh, sorry, Johan. You're staying.
But overall, I think it's another 2-1 series. I think they sneak one out because Trout, I don't think wants to lose to his hometown team.
Especially after the offseason where they kept saying, here's why he should be in Philadelphia. Like every possible fucking scenario of selling the team to bring him in.
And it's totally going to be the Sanchez game too.
That would be my take. If they drop him one, they're dropping the Sanchez, not the Wheeler Nola. Unless Nola goes all fucky because he's on the West Coast pitching twice.
So I didn't realize, but they have Marchand still on the 10-day IL for his back, like you said. And then Covey is on the 15-day IL for his shoulder. Like, I didn't even realize that he was still on the team.
Oh, yeah. Covey's been just on the injured list all season.
Yeah, he'll show up just to get a ring.
Did he get shoulder surgery? Or is this like...
No idea. I don't know what his injury is. I don't care enough about him to know what he's doing.
Jerking off too much. You know, you just strain it when you're wagging.
I remember the last time I jerked off on my shoulder.
It's the pitching motion where you're just rotating.
Churning butter.
Yeah, the pitchers just wind up as they crank it. They don't know how to bat.
I mean, listen, I guess compliments to him if it's that heavy. So whatever.
How else can you explain him being unbalanced on the fucking mound?
What a great way to end this show.
Yeah, right. So
Going off the rails.
We'll be back next week to talk the results of the West Coast game. We'll probably have some hot takes on Walker's start and how Spencer did in the bullpen. Because
what do you think about the Angels? You didn't say it.
Oh, I think they dropped the Sanchez game.
Okay, I think you did say it. You're right.
Yeah, to me, if there's a game to be dropped that they don't get the sweep, it's the Sanchez game. And Sanchez might turn it up just because he realizes, like, oh fuck, Spencer's looks really angry. I thought that was hilarious in Cincinnati when they were not even focusing the camera on Turnbull. They were talking about Sosa, and Spencer just came into the shot and threw the fucking glove because they were talking about how Sosa fucked up that play at third when they were trying to catch the steal, and he just walked in the camera shot and was beating the fuck out of his glove.
Did you see Wheeler though today?
No, I missed most of the game today, unfortunately.
When Cotham came out in the third inning.
Time to get the fuck back in the dugout?
Yeah, like he came out to talk to him because he had bases loaded. He came out to like calm him down and give him a break, and you could see he's just staring at him like,
"Who the fuck are you? Get away from me!"
Third inning. Don't talk to me.
Oh God, I love Wheeler. Wheeler might be the City Connect jersey I get if I don't have to cash in on the Schwarber deal.
DH gate.
DH. I'll get a Schwarber DH gate in that City Connect red. That's so popular. You keep seeing on Facebook. Anyway, that's gonna do it for us here on the Jersey
It's not gonna
Phanatics.
do it. I have one more hot take.
Oh shit!
I'm throwing in there, and you have to listen. Just listen all the way through, right? All right. Hot take. I think Schwarber goes on a tear on this West Coast, but I also think Castellanos wakes up and starts doing his thing. I think those two carry us through this West Coast swing
because of the warmer weather.
Yeah, I think it reminds Castellanos of Florida a little bit more. So I think he gets ready and gets going.
Well, that's probably his problem.
I mean,
he's had to have all the buttons up. He hasn't been able to take any of the buttons off because it's been so cold and rainy.
And Schwarber, I mean, I'm pretty sure that ball from the playoffs 2 years ago is still in orbit somewhere. So, I mean, he just hits with the Padres.
Warmer weather and less people watching.
Yeah, there's no fan base here. Just fucking, it's yard ball at this point.
Yep.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us officially here on the Phanatics. We'll be back next week to talk about the West Coast series. talk about Walker's performance, Spencer's performance, and any hot button topics that may come up. So hopefully we'll be talking about how Schwarber and Casty are lighting it up and working for the Philly of the Week award that NBC Sports gives out. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. I've been Chris Dace Man Dace. He's been Eric Barezzo.
Bye-bye.
He's been Tyler Freed.
Toodle.
And remember, Basement Dwellers, stick to the protocol. Check out everything going on at facebook.com/Basement Protocol Productions. The Taximon drops Mondays, Potter Nerd on Wednesdays, and Jersey Phanatics on Fridays. So we'll see you next time, sports fans. We out. Deuces.